Hello and welcome to Caching Waves. Just wanted to give you guys a quick update on HBAR. Just real quick on the daily, just to keep things in line here on the further out view. I have this either a 5-wave up, working on a correction here, or a 3-wave up, ABC to here, and then a expanded flat to complete, which is my current primary view. Unless we ended our correction over here. And the reason why I think downside is happening is because we came so deep. This would have to be close to the bottom of our correction, and we'd need a really deep retracement here. This does not look impulsive before we'd have to take off, which seems very improbable if you follow Elliott Wave at all. It just doesn't make sense. This isn't the typical way a market would bottom. It doesn't mean it's impossible. It just means it's not probable with the wave counts potentially right now. One way it could happen, again, I just want to show you the options, is if this was a small 1-2, a big 3-4, and the 5, again, it doesn't really check out as impulsive. If that were the case, this is 3 waves here. We'd then have to turn this into a leading diagonal, second 1-2, which took way longer than the first, which again is very improbable to happen. Doesn't mean it can't. It just means it's very unlikely way to bottom in a market. So with that being said, what it leaves us with is most likely either a ending diagonal here to complete around 3.7 cents on log scale and around 3 cents on linear, down at that 786 mark you see there in orange. And all that is the typical expectations extensions for an ending diagonal, where the first fills out, then you take your pivots. You'd expect between the 618 and the 786 for the third, and then for the fourth between the 786 and the 1-1, going further there. So that's my primary count at the moment. Alternatives are, we probably need a little bit lower low here. If it's not in, we come up to make a C wave, then we come down to bottom after that, where this becomes a larger correction in itself. But that's my two primary counts right now. There is another bullish way we move higher, but again, it's the corrective nature. So I'm going to stick with the most probable based on what we have. I'm going closer. I've been updating this pretty much every day, but it's a pretty ugly count currently. I'm relying mostly on fib levels at the moment. We had a double zigzag for our W potentially. We had a 3-wave move for our X, and this is really ugly, super complex. Now, I was able to count it one way as an ending diagonal, which was, this would be our first wave 1, wave 2. As you can see, we didn't make it to the 1-1. So what that would look like is like this down to here. As you can see, the third wave is shorter than the wave 1, and to stay valid, the third wave cannot be the shortest wave. So we take our pivots of the third off the fourth, get right in there. I just want to make sure you guys can see this properly. So there's no funny business going on. As you can see, we didn't hit it. We came up shy. So that keeps the rules valid. It's not invalid by any means. This could potentially be a flat correction where we get a double zigzag A. This would change to an ABC and not a WXY. This would just be an A, B, and a C down here to complete. I'll zoom in closer. As you know, if you watched yesterday, I couldn't find a way for this to bottom. It just doesn't look right at all. So my view is we're probably getting a complex correction here, more likely to the upside at the moment. And as you can see, our A to the C on linear also hit exactly to the tick at the 1-to-1 over here in the corrective area. So everything we would expect here is complete. But I expect further downside in the future within the next month, because this is technically our bottom with that count, unless it needs to be recounted a different way. But I spent about an hour looking at this, just this correction, and this was the best scenario I found that made sense. So if we made a new low here, I also checked on other exchanges. This clearly made a low below our C and our fifth. So what I think is most likely to happen next is this is an A, B working on our C, where this can be 5 waves. We then come down for a correction, come up again. That makes a 3-wave A. We come down and we get our 5 waves up. So we're gonna most likely move correctively up to the 50. I'm not going to trade this personally because it can get pretty ugly to try and trade this. A lot of sideways overlapping action. But what I'm waiting for is this trade. And that's going to be the short coming down. For our next move here for our third wave. Again, I can come to the 618, go back to linear scale, come back to the 618, just make a new low and make a wedge off the bottom there. That's what we're looking for. So that's what I'm looking for, guys. Similar to this, but a little bit smaller. As you can see, we had our wave down for our A. We have A, B, C down. That's our A wave in the larger trend. 3-wave move, looking for A, B, C to the downside. Excuse me. Just like so. And I want to be clear, I hold a lot of HBAR. I don't want this to happen, but I have to be as honest as I can with my charting and not have any bias. Just pay attention what's going on in the charts. So that's what I'm looking at, guys. So this can, and again, because this is so ugly, this wave, that's part of the reason why I don't want to take this long, because this can easily turn into something else. You know, maybe we have to recount this. What if this is an A wave here and this ends up being a double 3 where it's a flat in itself? We could have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and come down again. So I'm sidelined for this in the moment. I will give you updates this week, and if we have a really good setup, I'll show you that. Something like that would be if we come up, make our 5th, and then we get a really nice sideways flat. Something like that is high probability to trade to the upside, but we'll have to wait and see how the waves fill out here. But that's my current analysis, guys. I'm looking for more upside on HBAR up to around 6 cents, which is about a 20% move. And at that point, I'll be looking for a short. And if we do get our final move down, potentially looking for a long after that. But at current prices, I have no interest. I'd have to relabel all this and go against what I know is best at the moment. But if we do happen to get this, what I would look for is an impulsive move to the upside after, and a correction back before taking our long. These are things you want to look for a good entry. You should have rules for your entries, and one of mine is we break structure like this, and then we find support in that area, stop at the low. Right now, if you were to get in, you'd be completely 100% guessing without a lot of probability of a confident wave count. Like if you can get anything other than a complex correction here, I would love to hear it. So for those reasons, I'm staying sidelined for the moment. I will update this a couple times on the weekend. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. There are some other good trade setups with much clearer wave counts. If you want to look at those, check out my channel. Subscribe to it. I also have a playlist at the end that has the most recent updates available. All right, thanks for watching, guys.